Good evening, everyone. My name is Ian the Genetic Marvel, and I am here to talk about the journey that I've been going on that has pretty much changed the direction of my life. I've lost 156 pounds so far. I originally was over 450 pounds, and now I'm sitting at a modest 294 and going downwards. What I'm talking about is it's a 30-day series where I thought I would share my story on what happened, how I got to this point, and the different steps that it took for me to kind of figure things out and change the direction of my life. If you check some of the previous stories, it's been various things that I've discussed. Today, what I want to talk about is, well, I guess something that I've learned over the years and something that I've tried to stay true to. And it's always been a battle, but I remember when I was younger and hey, what's up, Serge? Thanks for coming by, buddy. Really appreciate it. One of the things that happened when I was young, I would lie a lot. Not about anything in particular, not for anyone's benefit or anything like that, but just for the sake of lying. It was a bad habit and something that I hated about myself. Now, after my first marriage fell apart, hey, what's up, John? You made it. Awesome, buddy. Hope you're doing okay. So, what's up? Walkie talkies, man, it's a full house. I feel so important. So, back in the day, it's like 20 years ago. Uh, I had an ex-wife. I had a, and that ended. And after that, I realized, why am I lying? It's a simple question, right? It always was a weird thing where I had to make sure, and I think it's a maybe an age thing or maturity. Who knows? Because I still laugh at fart jokes. But the idea that it's scary to be truthful, and there's a lot of shame and feelings of anxiety when someone starts, calling you out or you're caught in a lie. It's a realistic thing. Um, but what I started to realize, and this has been over the last quite a few years, was number one, um, I won't lie. Now, I will give, um, I will act with kindness and make sure that people are let down easy or not exposed to something that maybe isn't necessarily nice. Sometimes you have to learn on your own, right? So, like me, I didn't know I was fat. Who knew? No, I knew I was fat. I'm just being facetious. But the point is that I had to figure out who was I lying to, and that's a much harder kind of feeling or emotion to experience because we lie to ourselves. I think the most um, of all because we want to be perfect. We always want to be right. We always want to be successful, and we want it to always be someone else's fault. Totally normal. I feel the same way many times, and I'm trying to kind of fight my way out of those feelings because that's your first inclination. "Well, I didn't do it. I'm fantastic. I wouldn't screw up. Somebody else did." Probably not. It was me, right? And that's one of those weird things where it's the idea of who that we're lying to. As you guys know, I'm going through a weird time with my brother passing. It's a weird experience altogether, and weird things have happened throughout the whole experience. But that being said, um, some people have asked me questions, hard questions, and I formulate answers to be careful at how exposed I am, but also how exposed they might feel too. And then the question arises, who am I lying for? Now, do I feel like I'm lying? Semantics, right? But there's being truthful and then being hurtful, right? And that being said is one of those things where you have to feel for it and grow to understand what the purpose is of mm, opening up certain emotions, feelings, or just pieces of knowledge. I know for myself that I there's a joke that I tell where I was in a comedy. Uh, it's called the Comedy Bar, which is in Toronto, and someone was trying to roast me, and they said, "Ha! At least I could see my wiener," and I said, "I can still see it when it's hard," which is hilarious. But there was another person who was watching along. It was a woman who I don't even know, and she was looking at me. She's like, "Man, your wiener must be huge," and I went, "Oh, I'm a lot fatter than I thought I was." Now, that being said, which is, let's be honest, is a hilarious story. But that being said, those truths can hurt. And if they do hurt, um, is that good? Is that bad? Right? I know a lot of people, and my brother who just passed away, he always played the devil advocate and it annoyed the poop out of me. Annoyed the poop out of a lot of people. But he tried to do it. Um, I'm going to say he tried to do it to make sure we understood another perspective, which is a valid point. Um, but that was his way of saying, hey, are we thinking about everything? Now, is it perfect? Not the point. The point was, though, is that are we trying to help or trying to hinder? And a lot of the times it's ourselves, right? Because we'll stop and say, oh, what's the big deal, right? Like this past weekend. Um, I didn't eat during the day, and I saved it because I wanted to eat at my mom's house. And I did eat at my mom's house. It wasn't even that good. I'll be honest with you, because it wasn't her food. It was people had brought food because that's how the grieving process is for a lot of people. They deliver food, which is wonderful and it's a great gesture and it's a super thing. But it was just a bunch of food. I ate it, and then I also brought a fancy lemon meringue pie. And I wanted a slice of that lemon meringue pie. I'm not even going to joke about it. The reason I wanted it was from a French bakery. I bought it specifically to bring to my mom's, and I knew a lot of French baking has a lot of butter and a lot of fat, but doesn't have a lot of sugar, which is much better for me. Now, that being said, I'm paying for that now. My weight went up 3 pounds over the weekend because I was indulgent. So who do I lie to? Oh well, I'll be better tomorrow. No, from that meal onwards, I started fasting. I'm 2 days in as of 7 o'clock, so I'm just cracked 51 hours. I'm gonna go until Thursday like I normally do, and then I'm gonna eat very clean. Gonna keep on working out and do that. That's how I be truthful to myself. And that's I'm almost it's almost a superpower when you realize that you have more control over your life. So rejoice, because if it's you who is at fault, then you're in a unique position to fix it. Very accurate, John. Extremely accurate. That's you know what? And that's one of the keys thing. And that's that whole idea of those little steps. You said that little by little, you have to. It's okay. That's exactly the point, right? Is that those little steps of saying, hold on, I'm going to be truthful to myself is a hard band-aid to pull off. Let's be very clear with that. And I'll tell you, you kind of just want to put it on a lot of the times. Just it's okay. It's fine. It's everything's fine. Everything's fine. I'm not even just gonna. But that's how we hold ourselves accountable. And it's a constant fight, a daily fight, because the easiest and the most thing we want is to be kind to ourselves. Who? What kind of person isn't kind to themselves? And that's when you realize what is being kind versus what's being maybe indulgent, maybe misleading, maybe lying to our own selves. And that's one of the big kickers that I've experienced was that understanding what I mistook for being kind to myself was mm, killing me. And I thought that I knew what I was doing. I have to admit, we can be smart. We all have our strengths. We all have our wisdom. John writes awesome stuff. I am not that good at writing, but I'm good at speaking. That's why I'm here to try and help myself, holding myself accountable and maybe somebody else. But that's always the constant thing that I think about is what matters most? Is it my emotions? or my maybe false perception? Or is it me progressing, me trying to be better, me challenging myself to go that extra day? Definitely something I ponder regularly, and something that's definitely helped. And remember too, is it can be a hurtful rabbit hole to go down, but at the bottom, you can dust yourself off and start to come back up. And that I found was one of the key factors that made me realize that, along with some of the other things, that it's like, if I know what I'm doing, then I can move forward. But if I don't know, I have to be willing to either search for the answer, read for the answer, look for the answer, ask for the answer, something. And that's just being honest with myself. I think that's what I want to convey today. I think that's a good lesson that's really made a difference in my day to day and how I approach things. Also, too, this is a friend dropped this off yesterday. It's a 2XL shirt, and I've never worn a 2XL. So thankfully, like my arms still have a little bit of fat here, but things are coming in pretty good. Pretty good. It's not bad. Things are. I don't know, but they're going in the right direction, I think. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Again, I'm Dino the Genetic Marvel. Please like, share, subscribe. Today I was on an adventure. I put it on Instagram that I was walking around. It was very fun. So please share it with your friends if you feel that they might be benefited by this, because that's really what I'm doing this for. Is not just for myself, but also because I think a lot of us need a kind word to know that we're not alone, and that you know we're all fighting a similar fight in different ways and different stages, but it's something we can definitely work towards. So thank you very much for watching. Absolutely. And I'll be back tomorrow at 10 p.m. with another thing that I learned that maybe will benefit others. So please stay tuned, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye,